Yo! Yo! Squid Killers. Thank you, Battle Girl Dimples. That was, I guess, I don't really know who made that emote. I guess it's not really a emote that can be made. It's just take a picture of me and crop it out. Might have been Carrot who edited that. Thank you for your subscription and your continued patronage. Long live the Popcast. We're gonna stop this at some point. Not today, though. Date? What are you guys talking about? There was a date? All I saw was the Turf War trailer. I don't think you guys are aware. The game's actually getting delayed because of Xenoblade. That was confirmed earlier this week by the official Splatoon scientists of the competitive scene. There is one person on Destiny Troops, Tofu, been on our team for over 3 years, about 3.5 years now, who is just an insane Splatoon fan. He's just like crazy excited about Splatoon, knows the lore and all the stuff. He has not waken up yet. We've been pinging him non-stop, and he has yet to wake up and respond to anything. Boy, is he in for a surprise. He usually checks in on the Popcast too, so we might get some breaking news here. Poor buddy. No, he's Central Time Zone. I don't know what he's doing. He's usually awake by now. Usually got class or something. I hope he's alright. Maybe he saw the news and passed out. Poor old guy. Overdosed on copium. 6 a.m. Oh, that's right. You live in the past. Sucks to suck. Screw you, Tux. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Popcast. Whenever you're listening to this, whether it be live or VOD, Twitch or YouTube, or Spotify. While you're rushing to pre-order Splatoon 3 at the Sandusky, Ohio Walmart, overanalyzing that Turf War trailer for your YouTube channel, crying because your Xenoblade release date memes are no longer relevant. Whatever it is that you're doing right now, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to listen to this. Unless I don't. Well, we got that crap out of the way. All the other stuff I wrote out doesn't really make sense anymore now, does it? Let's just get into it. I mean, there's... every time I write out a Popcast episode early ahead of time, something jank happens that forces me to rewrite everything. So here we are. So how's your morning going? Mine was pretty cool. A mix of emotions. I woke up like an hour and a half earlier than what I was going to. I just woke up and just couldn't fall back asleep. And just look at my phone, and there's a new tweet from the Splatoon North American account, which is always a mixed bag of results whenever that thing tweets out something. It's usually something like, our research has concluded that there is a difference between Inklings and Octolings. I was like, oh, great, thanks. Nice work there. Nice research, Copernicus. Any 10-year-old with a Splatoon original character on DeviantArt could have told you that. But here we are. You're giving us more credible information. Well, looked at it. I mean, sometimes they might. Eventually, you knew they were going to say something that wasn't stupid. And I just see release date. And then I look down and I look through the tweet and I just immediately, all right, I don't need to read the rest of this. I just need to look for numbers. And it has been officially announced. No, not a joke. It is coming out on September the 9th, which is a Friday. And just so happens to be the same exact day that Riptide gets started. Uh-oh. Now, before we do anything, I want to clear up a misconception. This is something I cannot believe so many people are talking about, but I'm going to do it here first. I'm going to break down and pick apart a myth here. Let's go to this website called Google. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, this isn't summer. Don't need to go to don't need to show my email there. A lot of people are saying this is not summer. If we type in the word summer, Thursday, September the 22nd, it's still summer, dummies. Why would it not be summer? It's still in the summertime. I get people were saying, oh, it's not summer because summer is when I'm not in school. That is not correct. You are still in school. If you're still in the summertime until September 22nd. So it's still summer. Okay. Now, would it be nice if it came out in like June or July or something like that? Yeah, it would. But don't sit here and spread lies saying, well, it's not technically summer. It's like, what do you expect? What do you expect to come out of that? Now, I'm happy we got a date, right? Like, I'm really happy that we got a date. Super excited that we got a date. That's awesome. I don't want to seem ungrateful that we got a date or anything like that. But that is for the competitive scene. And if you're watching this, you are a competitive player. That I look at the statistics. I look at the people, the idiots in chat. All of you are at least somewhat interested in competitive Splatoon. Otherwise, you wouldn't even know I exist. That's fine. You are my target audience. So I'm glad that you're here. But this is the literal worst possible date that they could have used to release Splatoon 3. It's the worst date. There's not a date that you could pick that would be worse than this. If it was on September the 8th, that would have been even better than this. So that you have like an extra day to go get it before you go to Riptide. If it was even the day after, if it was on September the 12th, that is perfect too. Because you don't have to go through, you don't have to just sit there at Riptide while everybody else is off in the world playing this brand new game and enjoying it. We're stuck with somebody's stupid hotspot on their phone, hotel Wi-Fi, barely able to play Splatoon 3 at all, but we can't really focus on that because we're trying to win a tournament for Splatoon 2, and we're probably the only people on planet Earth playing Splatoon 2. Oh no! The literal worst date. This is just a giant middle finger to competitive Splatoon. Hey, you guys are hosting a LAN that could be massive? Yeah, nah, you're not going to get to play Splatoon there. Now, Riptide has already announced before this date came out that Splatoon, that September the 1st, I believe, was the last cutoff day to when they were going to transition from 2 to 3. So if it got released after Splatoon, or September the 1st, it was just going to be stuck with that, and there was nothing. You were going to be stuck with Splatoon 2. Nothing could really be changed to that. With that being said, though, you would thought, well, okay, well, what if it actually came out on the 2nd? Would they revise that? If it came out on the 3rd, would they be like, we know most of you would be more interested in playing Splatoon 3. We're going to change that a little bit. We're going to give a little wiggle room. We're still going to do Splatoon 3. You can't do that now. There's no way you could play Splatoon 3 at Riptide when it comes out the same day. You're going to show up there at Riptide on Thursday, check in, and you still are not going to have a copy of the game. You have to go and get the game while you're there. If you want to get a hard copy, which being the old fart I am, I enjoy actually having physical cartridges in the boxes, I guess, to some extent, which aren't exactly on camera there, as opposed to the digital copy. I guess you get the digital copy, you can just get it while you're there. You don't have to actually leave and buy a hard copy of it. But you can't really play it at Riptide. If you were to play it at Riptide, you're going to just, if there was like a Splatoon 3 tournament somehow at Riptide, and they're talking about having a side event there, which is going to be, honestly, it's going to be pretty cool to see. But you do realize it's just going to be everybody in starter gear using juniors. Quad junior versus quad junior. That's what a tournament would look like. It would just be every single team line up there to see who's the best junior player. Because you can't really play the game to grind up your levels, right? You can't level up in a private battle, or at least you can't in Splatoon 2. It'd be a broken mechanic if you could just level up in a private battle, because then you could just do 1v1s and just keep, throwing and KOing each other until you both get the level you need and the money you need to get weapons and whatnot. But you can't really play solo queue. You can't do it in LAN mode there. So you're gonna have to use somebody's hotel Wi-Fi. Or you have to use somebody's like hotspot or whatever, which, I guess those things are somewhat reliable. We don't know we don't know what the latency for online of Splatoon 3 the first day it comes out is going to be. Usually when games first come out, the internet online features of that game really suck. Hotel Wi-Fi. Here's what Twitter is going to be. The Riptide at this year is going to be this really weird experiment where everybody's going to be trying to play Splatoon 3 on the side, but like Twitter's just going to be people talking about, hey, I actually stayed in the lobby, I got all the way through a game online, or I unlocked the splatter shot. Or I was able to buy a new set of clothes. Meanwhile, there's people downstairs at the actual event playing Splatoon 2 in between games are going to be watching the stream, not of Riptide, but of Dude to see what Splatoon 3 is like. Did you see Dude? What Dude is doing? With Dude's having like 1,000 followers streaming Splatoon 3 for the first time for everybody to see. It's going to be weird. At night, like everybody's going to be playing Splatoon 3 at Riptide. You're going to be all in hotel rooms, trying to get through a game. Hey, I didn't DC this time. Awesome. And that's what all Twitter's going to be about. Everyone's going to be talking about it. And then there's just like, oh yeah, there's a Splatoon 2 event. It's so weird because one of the main issues, or not a main issue, but one of the main concern, if you were a casual and you got the game on launch weekend, you were going to be stuck in C rank with us. And you're like, C rank, when the game first comes out, is going to be a total mess. It's going to be like X rank is right now, except way worse. You're going to have monsters in the lobby, in the same lobby as like little Timmy, who literally has never played Splatoon before, just picked up Splatoon 3, and it's just this team's just dropping 40 bombs on him. But if all the best players in North America, or a good chunk of the best players in North America, are stuck playing Splatoon 2 at Riptide, all of a sudden you got a weekend to where the actual C-rank players can somewhat enjoy the game, to where Keo isn't just dunking on all of them on his way up to the whatever B rank and, whatever ranks we can get after that. I guess you need everybody to get up to B rank to where you can fill B ranked lobbies first. It's going to be a while, but man, well, what a luck out for a lot of those people. Just trying to grind up through the game for the first time ever. It's going to be really weird. I mean, but still, what really sucks about this is that all of a sudden, Riptide and Shine, the stock of those two events for this year just took an absolute nosedive. If you didn't sell your stock in Riptide and Shine before today, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It's done. There's nothing that can be done now. I mean, are people still going to go to Shine and Riptide? Yeah, people of course are still going to go. People already registered and paid for it. Again, without the idea of knowing what game they're going to be. At least you know what game you're going to be playing in now. At least we know now what game Shine and Riptide is going to be. But, I mean, you still want to go to Riptide because it's going to be it's cool to see everybody. And now it's the official... somebody pointed out it's the funeral for Splatoon 2. Is it a funeral when we've already moved on? I mean, this is it's like breaking up with your girlfriend, but you've already got, like, before you even break up with the girlfriend, you already got a new one. Like, that's so messed up. And that's basically what we're going to be doing. Are we really, like, Low Tide City would be the perfect send-off for Splatoon 2. Not the end of Splatoon 2, but just like this is the last land. We can say goodbye and we're moving on. And then it's like a bad sequel. It's like The Land Before Time. Like, the first one was good, and then the second one made you realize, okay, this is not they're not putting effort into this anymore. They're just trying to sell crap to kids, and they'll keep buying it. It's like, all right, we can stop doing this. Low Tide City is Land Before Time 2. Shine is going to be Land Before Time 3, where they're like, oh, this is still going on. And then Riptide is Land Before Time 4, where it's like, okay, why? Why are we doing this still? And it's just going to keep going on. Well, no, it's not going to keep going on. Riptide, we know, is the official last Splatoon 2 event that is going to have Splatoon 3 somewhere along the lines as well. But it could have been. Man, it sucks because we wanted Shine and Riptide to be massive and awesome. Because I've talked about this, 4 days ago? How important it is to show these Smash Brother TOs that are hosting these big LANs that we have to be a part. Look, we need Smash Brothers to exist in the LAN world. We do. It's extremely difficult, if borderline impossible, to do a legit Splatoon LAN standalone. Not saying it hasn't been happening in the past, but in this post-LAN era that we're in here, we need help before we need to be little brother to Smash Brothers for a long time before we have enough stamina or credibility to where we can kind of go off on our own and host an event at somebody's McDonald's or whatever. But we need to convince these TOs that Splatoon is viable at a LAN. And it's hard to do that when we don't want to play the frickin' game that they're making us play because we can't get our hands on Splatoon 3 just yet. That sucks. Oh. Now, speaking of LANs, Breeze kind of tweeted out earlier in this week, hey, we're going to wait for Splatoon 3 to get announced before we do anything. Breeze being a LAN in the United Kingdom, I believe. Hey, that's now that you realize Breeze is probably going to be the first LAN that's going, a major LAN that's going to have Splatoon 3. All of a sudden, I'm thinking like, when does my passport expire? Do I need to update that thing? That's I'd much rather be there than at the own of it that I'm being a part of at IPL's Riptide. So that's interesting situations all aboard. The wife says passports are good to go. I know we've held on to those things for a good chunk of time. I don't really know when they expire. But it's Splatoon 2 from here on out. We don't get that big momentum. And somebody was in chat. You guys know I don't always pay attention to chat. Unless you highlight something, then I'll go back and check it. But somebody said in chat, last episode, if it would be a good idea to run Splatoon 3 tournaments, like major tournaments, like at the very beginning of the launch window, like as soon as the game comes out, is it a good idea to run a Splatoon 3 major event? Yeah. Oh yeah. You wanna run major Splatoon events as soon as you possibly can. Not like frame one. You want to give like some time for people to actually grind the game so that they're high enough level to get weapons and clothes and have some sort of loadout that makes sense. But as soon, like, you want to have a major tournament very, very soon in the life cycle. Are you kidding me? As soon as the game comes out, you can't get competitive Splatoon on Twitch fast enough because everybody's going to be looking at that game. And if as soon as they get the game at the launch window and all of a sudden they're looking on Twitch and they're seeing a tournament of some of the best players from Splatoon 2, that's going to generate a ton of hype. And I'll tell you this right now, I'm not breaking any news, and I'm not sitting here saying IPL's going to do this or any other org going to do that specific thing. But I will tell you this. You are going to see, and now that we do have a release date, you are going to see, probably announced soon or not later, a multiple Splatoon majors going on very early in the launch window. I don't know like dates, and I'm not saying specifically what or anything like that. However, everybody that is a TO knows the importance of getting Splatoon 3 up on Twitch as soon as we possibly can. So yeah, you're going to see a lot of events early. And if Riptide was that, damn, that would have been awesome. A missed opportunity. And it's so weird. Again, Nintendo picked that day, the day Riptide's going on. Now, I don't think they did it in spite of Riptide, but it's just another example of how Splatoon or Nintendo just has complete lack of understanding of anything that goes on outside of their own doors. Apparently, according to some of the tweets, they have a complete lack of understanding of a lot of things that go on inside of their own doors as well, with their how they handle their employees. I haven't fully looked through all that article, but hey, it makes sense. They don't know what's going on outside or inside their own doors. But here we are. Splatoon 3 is announced. The countdown has begun. I've been saying this for a while. I'm getting the game. I just shut up and take my money. I don't care. I look at the turf war clip and the bow and arrow looks bad. It looks bad. Now I understand that what you saw in that turf war clip is not the final game. Adjustments are going to be made. There's going to be patch notes coming out for years after the game gets released. But just looking at what I saw right there, that bow and arrow looks like an X-Splosh with in lag on the bullet. It looks like a poor man's X-Splosh from what I can tell. But I don't care. I look at that. I can throw eggs to my Salmon Run teammates. All this stuff. I don't care. None of that matters to me. You tell me Splatoon 3, I'm buying the game. I'm sorry. I'm going to buy the game anyways. As a TO though, the only thing I need is a date. And now I got a date. IPL's got a date. Dapple's got a date. We all got a date that we can work with, and now we can actually start planning everything. All those great ideas that we want to have that we had to hold on to, we can start planning them. All the events you guys have been asking for that haven't been around, we can start planning them. We now know what the last low ink is going to be. The last Splatoon 2 low ink champion is going to be in August. That's what? So we got April, May, June, July. We got 5 more low inks left. We are only going to have 5 more Splatoon 2 low ink champions. That's it. I mean, you talk about these teams that are like, oh, I want to win low ink. I want to get banned from low ink, but I want to win it first. You only got 5 more opportunities to do it. And I'm going all the more reason why. A part of my segment today is explaining to you guys mathematically how you can win low ink, what you need to do specifically to win low ink. And you got this, you only got 5 more chances to do it now. But man, I was not expecting that. Splatoon 3 announcement date. I was not expecting that. What a pleasant surprise. If it had just been a week earlier. We'll survive though. It's not the end of the world. It's a missed opportunity that Riptide's not going to have Splatoon 3. No question about it. It's a huge missed opportunity. And Shine, bless your heart. Hopefully West Coast or East Coast will kind of take care of you guys there. And hopefully TOs for these other... Like I would love if Splatoon went back to Genesis. And hopefully hype with Splatoon 3 in general will convince some of these other TOs, hey, we should give Splatoon 3 a shot. We should give it a shot. Like, if we could get it, like could you imagine like Splatoon at Big House or like SmashCon or something like that? Like, if we could convince one of those people that Splatoon is worth giving a shot, that would be awesome. It would just been awesome if it was that Riptide 2 thing. Riptide's gonna be really weird. Riptide is gonna be really weird. And I've been told if you are planning on getting a hard copy at Riptide, you need to like pre-order it now at one of those locations. I don't know if there's a GameStop there. I know there's a Walmart. That's where we got Waters there. It's in walking distance from the resort there. We saw several Smash players walking to and from Walmart last time, carrying Waters on their things. A GameStop and a Target, yeah. So I think you want to pre-order. Man, the Sandusky GameStop is just going to get all kinds of out-of-state people coming into their store on that day. That is quite a thing. I don't know. It's just going to be weird. Is Riptide Splatoon 2 this year is just going to be this weird social experiment of everybody playing Splatoon 2, but like on the side playing Splatoon 3, and tweeting about Splatoon 3, and talking about Splatoon 3. Why is nobody at the pool? What? Oh, they're all playing video games in their room on hotel Wi-Fi? Okay. They're on vacation. Why? What? Why are they playing video games on vacation? You don't understand. We've been waiting for this for years. Oh, man. That'll conclude the Splatoon 3 segment. 25 minutes. 25 minutes of an additional content that I wasn't expecting to talk about today. I'm going to have to speed through the actual stuff people were expecting to come here for. Yeah. With that being said, there are only 5 low inks left that you can win for Splatoon 2. And no, but several people have asked this. They'll continue to ask this. When Splatoon 3 comes out, does that mean low ink bans get reset? Nope. You're banned from low ink, you're gone forever. Bye. Look, you guys saw the trailer I did. It's not the same exact game, but if you're telling me that you're going to have sharp skill fall off from 2 to 3, if you think you're going to be a worse player from 2 to 3, I don't think you were looking at the same exact trailers here. I think you guys are going to be just fine. So, if you want to be one of the 5 teams left that are going to win Splatoon, the low ink in Splatoon 2, I got some news for you. I have broken down mathematically. I've looked at all the stats, all the statistics, and I figured out exactly what you need to do. The trend that a low ink champion has of a high ink team. If you want to be a high ink team, here's exactly what you need to do. For all the stats I'm going to read off here, a couple of disclaimers. First off, I'm only using the low inks that have the 2-day format. That is 21 tournaments up to this point that I've used that format. So there's like several other low inks that were the 1-day thing. That doesn't apply here because, well, it was, in a sense, it was a completely different tournament. Swiss, 1-day, top cut, not a double elimination. Things a little bit different. The other disclaimer I want to point out is the always frustrating from a statistical standpoint March 2021 low ink, where technically Red Sun and Twisted Time are co-winners. In all these statistics, I am going off of if it was a normal tournament. In a normal rule set tournament, when the Dragons disconnected and dropped out of grand finals, Twisted Time would be declared the official winner. So for my statistics, I am just including Twisted Time as the winner of that tournament because we're going to be looking at basically all the winners. So everything Red Sun in that one, they technically lost twice before they got to that grand final, so it doesn't count. Red Sun counts as losing in that one in my mind. And Twisted Time is the winner. Just for the sake of these statistics. If we try to include 2 champions in 1 month for all these things we're going to kind of list out for you here, it's going to get really weird and annoying. So for the sake of simplicity, the official winner of the March 2021 tournament is Twisted Time. Congratulations. It took a year and a month for us to get to that conclusion. The math proves it. Okay, so first off, you got to go through Saturday. You got to go through Swiss. Swiss is very important. And what record you get in Swiss is kind of sneaky. You don't want to win every single game. You actually don't want to win every single game. I tweeted this out at the end of my Popcast Low Ink recap episode for the month of March, but I'm going to read it off again here. Here are the of the 21 champions in the 2-day era. These are the Swiss records for those teams. For teams that went 6-0, only 5 teams that went 6-0 have gone on to win low ink. Teams that went 5-1 have won low ink 15 times. More than 3 times. That's 4 times the amount of wins than teams that go 6-0. And also, it is important to point out, teams that go 4-2 have won Loink in the 2-day era only once. Only one time has the team gone 2-4 and won Loink. That team would be Fluency in the month of September. Okay, fine. I didn't break down all the math here. Some of it I'm going to do at the top of my head. Kiz has. Maybe 3 times 5 is actually 15. But Fluency being the only team to go 4-2 and win in the month of December on 2020, the year 2020. Coincidentally, that is also the only team I have ever correctly predicted to win Loink. Fluency is the only team ever to be at the number 1 slot in my top 10 to actually win Loink. That's it. So there you go. And also the only team to go 4-2 and win Loink. But the numbers show the vast majority of the time, 3 times as often, if you go 5-1, you're 3 times as likely to win Loink than a team that goes 6-0. So why is that? Well, there's a couple of reasons to go into it. There's the actual mathematical reason, and then there's the more fun, slightly logical reason. Let's start with the slightly more fun one. I see this happen a lot. I'm sure you guys do too. And maybe some of you in chat participated in this. I don't know. I'm not calling out anyone in particular because I see this every single month. When a team goes 6-0, you usually see them type it, make sure everybody knows about it, which is fine. Like posting, like tweeting out that, hey, we went 6-0. Here's our drip pick or whatever. That's fine. Like I love seeing and will always like posts of people just posting their day 1 results with a drip pick. Every team does it essentially, regardless of how good they actually do. 6-0, 3-3, whatever. They're excited to play Loink and get a result of some sort. Teams that go 6-0 should be proud of it. But then you often see these teams go into general chat of IPL and be like, man, we went 6-0. And it's like, yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. That's still excited. It's still acceptable to be excited about doing well on Saturday. And then a couple hours later, they'll come back in the general chat. Man, I can't believe we went 6-0. I still can't believe it. And it's like, yeah, congrats again. And then like 3 hours later, you'll see them go to general chat of the MIT server and be like, oh gosh, I still can't wrap my head around the mindset that we went 6-0. And it's like, okay, come on. You do know that's rarely ever a good thing, right? It's not that going 6-0 is bad. Like it's not the actual mindset of going 6-0, or it's not the actual result of going 6-0 that's bad. It's not even the fact that you're the number 1 seed or number 2. Keep in mind, everyone's got this idea that there's a number 1 seed curse. But if there's a 6-0 team in each group, then like group A is like automatically the number 1 seed and like group B is automatically number 2 or something like that. There's no inherent difference between group 1 or the number 1 or number 2 seed. They're both the same. They're both the top team of each group. They just, you just kind of get funneled into that kind of seed or whatever. It's the mindset. I think some teams get a little too drunk or intoxicated off of the idea that they went 6-0 and they don't start mentally preparing for the next day. That you got to have amnesia about Saturday. Again, I'm not sitting here being critical of anybody who's excited about doing well on Saturday. But if you want to actually win Loink, you got to have amnesia. You got to forget about it. You got to not care. You got to start focusing on, hey, now it gets serious. We played some alpha bracket teams yesterday, but now game 1 is going to be against the team from the group opposite of us. We are going to play an opponent at the very start of Sunday that wasn't even in our group. So it's somebody going to be completely brand new, and it's an alpha bracket team. You play nothing but alpha bracket teams on Sunday. Oh, wow. Breaking news there. Yeah. But you didn't play. You probably made 1 or 2. Sometimes, if you're Snowfall, you played 6 on Saturday. So the quicker you can just turn off your mind to how good of a result that you did on Saturday and start focusing on what you need to accomplish at the start of Sunday, the better you're going to do. That's the logical, fun reason, I think, why 6-0 teams traditionally don't do very well on Sunday. The mathematical reason is because, well, there's only like 2 teams. Of the 16 teams that play on Sunday, only like 2 of them are 6-0. The vast majority of them are 5-1. So the sample size is a little bit different. Yeah, if there's like 6 teams that are 5-1 and only 2 that are 6-0, yeah, the odds are the 6 teams have the higher chance of one of them winning than the 2 teams that went 6-0. There's just more teams that have a better chance of getting there. So that's probably the actual reason why more 5-1 teams win low ink than 6-0 teams. But it's more fun to kind of manipulate the data to make whatever point you want to make. But there is kind of another thing as I look a little bit deeper into this. Well, what about the 4-2 teams? There's a lot of 4-2 teams that make this one, right? Yeah, actually, now that we were in the era where we were getting like 100 plus teams, there were like 5 or 6 teams that would go 5-1 in each group. So you would have like your top 16 would be like several teams. Like 12 teams of those 16 teams might be 5-1. But now we're in this era where we're getting like 80 to 70, and we're at 66 right now. So we're going to probably be in like a 74-ish kind of range when we start. The vast majority of teams that are going to make alpha bracket are going to be 4-2. Like you're only going to get maybe 3 teams that go 5-1, and then the other 4 of your group are going to be 4-2. So most teams in alpha bracket are going to be 4-2, and it has been that way for the past like 5 or 6 months or so, maybe 7. But how come 4-2 teams still only have one low ink champion, and that was from 2020? It's been a year and a half since a 4-2 team won low ink, and only one has ever done it. But there's more 4-2 teams in alpha bracket than there's ever been. Statistically, you would think one of them would break the mold and knock off some of these 5-1 teams. No, that's still not the case. So even with that mathematical breakdown of like more teams representing this record in Swiss than the other, it's still 5-1 teams that are dominating. Kind of throw in, before we move on to what you need to do on Sunday, I guess kind of a transition over here. What seed is the one that you want to get? So you go 5-1. That's the record you want to get. That's the perfect record. Taking a loss makes you humble. I think that's another thing that goes with the mindset. Hey, the pressure's on that team. That team that's 6-0, they got the target on their back now. We took a loss earlier. That's going to make us humble. We're going to learn from that. We're going to go in ready to go. So what seed is the best one that you want to get? The number 1 seed. Now, keep in mind, it's not just the number 1 seed. Number 1 and number 2 seed. The 1 and 2 seed are the same exact thing. The 1 and 2 seeds have one low ink 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. 6 times a 1 or 2 seed has one low ink. One of those times, that number 2 seed was 5-1. There was a group, I think it was the Deep Fried Octolings when they won. They were the number 2 seed, but they went 5-1 in their group. Nobody went undefeated in that Swiss group that they were in. But you can go, and again, this is just 21 tournaments. So 1 and 2 have won 6 times out of 21 tournaments. That's not bad. You can do well and still win these low inks. Here is what you can't do, though. These are the seeds that have never won low ink in the 2-day era. Oddly enough, 7. I don't know why. I don't have any theories why the 7th seed has never won. Literally 1 through 6, 8, 9, and 10, and 11 have all won. Like all the numbers around 7 have won. But for some reason, the 7th seed is the legit cursed one. That one is just flat out cursed. Now, there is a little bit more to say about these other seeds that have never won it. 12, 13, 14, and 15. Those 4 seeds have never won low ink. Now, why is that? Well, you're a little bit lower seed. That means you're playing the tougher teams early and often. Makes a little bit sense. But you would think one of them would have broken the mold and broken through at some point and won it. No. If you are 12 through 15 and you win low ink, you'll be making history. Nobody has ever done it. I haven't looked up to see who got the closest, but nobody's ever done it. Now, again, who was the 16th seed that won Low Ink? I'll let you take a guess. How about the only 4-2 team ever to win Low Ink? Fluency. Fluency being the only 16 seed ever to do it. Access Denied, if you recall, came frames away from beating Lois. They would have been the second 16 seed ever, and that was just a couple of months ago. They also would have been the second 4-2 team, because actually they would have been the first team to ever win Low Ink who didn't outright qualify for Alpha Bracket. They got in because of drops. That would have been so frames away from these things, from all these stats kind of being blown out of the water here. But still, only one team going to 16. If you end up in 12 through 15, the odds are against you, as they say. But you survived. Hey, congratulations. You went 5-1. That's a good thing. You ended up in seed, let's say you're seed number 6. You don't want to get 7. 7's officially cursed. This is a good thing. Rising Stars, yes. Rising Stars didn't actually win that Low Ink, though. They finished in, like Alpha Access Denied, they finished in second place. So how do you win Sunday? What's the most important matches on Sunday? First off, we all know only one team has lost in round 1 and gone on to win Low Ink. And I think there's a little bit of an asterisk that needs to be there. That is Lois. Lois lost in round 1 to Access Denied in January and then went on to win the Low Ink anyways. They're from Australia. I honestly believe that plays a factor into it, because when you lose early in losers bracket, you are stuck in this best of 3 hell, grinding out wins after wins after wins, and you're just draining yourselves, and you get into grand finals against a team that's fresh and ready to go, and you are running out of energy. The difference with Lois is, being in Australia, the sun is rising. The longer they stay in losers bracket, the more the day begins to start. They're still playing losers bracket in the dead of night, but by the time they get to the grand finals, it's morning. It's up. It's time for breakfast. Like, they're re-energized by the day starting. Whereas if you're an EU team, the longer you stay in the losers bracket, you're moving into Monday morning, and if you're an NA team, the sun is starting to set by the time you get to grand final. So you're running out of it. You're running out of gas. So I think that's why Lois was the only team ever to win going all the way through losers bracket, because they had the geography advantage that most of you in chat are unfortunately not going to have there. So you got to win round 1. Now, here, outside of round 1, what is the most important round? What's the money round? The round you absolutely have to win. The correct answer to this, and this is some really interesting stats that I was able to find right here. When you get to semifinals of winners bracket, you have to win that match. You absolutely have to win semifinals if you want to win Low Ink. If you lose semifinals, you are probably not going to win Low Ink. It's just not going to happen. Only one team has ever won Low Ink after losing semifinals. That team would be the Grillers, back then known as the West Broadway Grillers. That was, July? That was July of 2020. Every other team that has lost their semifinal matchup has not won Low Ink. It hasn't happened. Why is that? You can lose in quarterfinals and still win Low Ink. You can lose in winners finals and still win Low Ink. For some reason, you cannot lose in semifinals and expect to win Low Ink. It just doesn't happen. And I think I found the reason why. If you look at a bracket, let's just pull up a random Low Ink bracket here. Look at March of last year. If you look at the bracket, what is that? Oh, that's exactly what I wanted. Okay, weird. If you look at this one, so losers finals here, or semifinals here. When you lose this one, you get put in round 4. The problem is, in round 3 is a matchup between two teams that are already in losers bracket. So these teams that are winning round 3, because they're not playing a team that just lost, they're playing a team that is still in loser's bracket. Like Kodomo and Apocalypse were both already in loser's bracket when they play against here. So that means when you win round 3, you are automatically going, if you lose in semifinals, you are automatically going to play someone who's on a 2-game winning streak. You are automatically playing somebody who is extremely hot and is on a roll right here. And if you look at this one, this is the perfect example. Crack United lost Crack United lost semifinals, immediately got eliminated. The Yummy Stars lost semifinals, immediately got eliminated. Because they're going up against a team that's got all this momentum, and you just lost. So those are two clashing dynamics. And this is one of the few rounds that happens. And also, we see this a lot. The only other time this happens is in round 6, losers finals, where we traditionally see a lot of teams get destroyed. It didn't happen here, but we traditionally see a lot of teams get destroyed by the team making the deep run in losers bracket here. So here are the statistics. I looked this up. It didn't take me long. Don't think I don't have a life. I do. It didn't take me this long. If you lose winners semifinals, your record in the match immediately right after that, teams have gone 17 wins and 25 losses. Teams that lost winners semifinals have a 40% win rate in round 4 of losers bracket. So why are they not winning low ink? They can't get over that loss. They're going up against a team that's got too much momentum built up. It's a trap. Losing semifinals is a trap. And you see teams just take L after L after L immediately after losing that one. So statistics will tell you, if you want to win low ink, here's exactly what you need to do. Go 5-1 on Swiss Saturday. Don't get seeded number 7. Anything but the 7th seed is fine. If you're 12 through 15, you're a 4-2 team. You've already failed. You've already screwed up the odds against you. So go 5-1, get seeded somewhere between 3 and 6 or 8 and 9, apparently. If you lose in winners bracket, make sure you do it in quarterfinals, because if you win quarterfinals, you can't lose. At that point, you just got to keep going. You just got to steamroll at that point. So either lose in quarterfinals or not at all, or lose in winners finals, and you can just come back in something like that. So that's the statistics. If you go 6-0, you went too far. If you win quarterfinals and you don't, and that's your best win, you went too far. You got to make it all calculated. And if you do this to a T, you will be one of the last 5 teams ever to win low ink. In Splatoon 2, that is. A couple highlight messages. Let's get to them here. Many more teams get 5-1 than 6-0 in the first place, though. That's biased stats. No, you beat me to it. I already had it written down, and I called it out. Now, sales techniques called covering the objection, I believe. But you pointed it out before I could get to it. PA Tom J. But good. Hey, good for you for not just suckering into statistics that can be manipulated in some way. Okay, so go 5-1, get seed 7, low in winner semifinals. Gotcha. No. Don't get seed 7. Anything but seed 7. Come on, my lag paradise. You got to be smarter than that. Oddly enough, the Yume Stars were the 7th seed last month, and what was their record in Swiss? So the Yume Stars broke every single rule I just pointed out last month. They went 4-2 in Swiss. They got the 7th seed, and they lost in semifinals. They literally broke every single rule I go through there. Poor Yume Stars. They were doomed from the start. They didn't realize it. None of us did. We're running out of time here. We got to get through the top 10. I guess there are some teams. There's a few teams that we'll talk about before we get to the top 10. Sorry, Splatoon 3 kind of screwed up a lot of stuff. I want to give a shout out to a couple of teams. First off, the idiots in chat. No, I'm not talking about you guys. There's a literal team called Idiots in Chat. The team that finished 4th place in the Minnow Cup, I dared them to call themselves their next pickup they used Idiots in Chat, and what did they actually went with it. So there you go. Hey, that team might actually, honestly, that team might be top 10 material. I haven't been able to look into them personally because they signed up late last night. I haven't been able to look into them all, but they honestly might low-key be a top 10 team. I just haven't been able to have enough time to personally look into them, so I figured at least mention them to some extent. Another pickup team name. What is Fight Club? Ooh, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. But it is a pickup team made up of Irida and Inkcraft Cult. We haven't seen Inkcraft Cult in a while. Irida kind of flips in and out as they see fit. So it's good to see those two teams come together. What is Fight Club? Want to give them a quick shout out. Another team that kind of just pops up and comes and goes as they please is Hydra, now known as Team Hydra, a seasonal team that just kind of rotates in and out. I guess it's their month to kind of play low ink as in the spot of somebody else. J Croutons. I'm going to keep talking about them because they keep improving every tournament that they play in. Keep an eye on the J Croutons. You want to do that. Mafia is making a return after their first low ink. Probably the chattiest chatters in the IPL general chat. It's good to have some new fans show up here. Splat-a-lots. Here's the alphabet teams that are showing up for, this time around. You got Splat-a-lot A, you got Splat A, Lot B, and you're getting E in here as well. Splat-a-lot E. Splat-a-lot-y. I'm going to have to come up with something cool to say about all those letters. But C, D, F, and we know there is a G, and I think there is an H, right? Or has H been unconfirmed? Those letters are not here. So what is it about A, B, and E that makes them so special that they can show up? I don't know. At some point, we can just have a whole bracket. I want Gamma Bracket or Beta at one point to just be nothing but Splat-a-lot teams. How awesome and crazy would that be? Lastly, I want to give a shout out to my personal friends here, the Sugar Bears. For those of you who know, there is a group called the Sploot Troops. It's been playing Splatoon together casually for about 4 years. The team Destiny Troops originated from Sploot Troops, which is where the Troops thing in Destiny Troops kind of comes from. But the Sugar Bears are some 4 friends from that team, or from that group, that are going to be playing in this low ink, and they're good friends of mine. I told them that if they made Sunday, I'd buy them all cheeseburgers. That's going to be a tall task, though. But they can do it, unless they can't. So be a little one to look out for the Sugar Bears. That's a great team name. Top 10 teams. Starting with the honorable mention. First off, Freelancing Takoyaki. Always makes alpha bracket, but I don't think they actually do any winning there. Aquatic Vanguard won gamma brackets, but is now back on the outside looking in. And last but certainly not least, Up the Ante deserves a little bit of shout out here in the honorable mention, as I pretty much do every single month, put them in the honorable mention. Hey, Up the Ante is going to Low Tide City, and yes, results you get at a LAN can ultimately get you banned from low ink. It's an actual tournament. People were confused about that. Well, if ITAP beats A2P, can they get banned from low ink? No, not one individual map could one individual win can get you banned, but it counts. It definitely gets taken into consideration. Yes, a LAN tournament is an actual tournament. So we'll see what Up the Ante can do there. If Up the Ante beats FT Win, I'm banning them from low ink. I'll hand them. JPEG and I will both be there. We will make a certificate and hand it to them right on the spot. Bet. The top 10 teams that are going to win low ink, or have the best chance to win low ink if they follow the formula I just spelled out earlier. Number 10. Despite my better judgment, I'm putting Molly Whoppers in the top 10. I think they've made Alpha Bracket literally every single time they've played in this tournament. So it's fair to put them in here. And I am officially labeling this team as a project, considering how often they play in low ink nowadays. It's what's the thing? Common law. Like if you live with you've lived with a roommate for a certain amount of time, the state just sees you automatically as married. This team name has been around long enough to where I am considering them all married. They are a team in my eyes, or a project, or whatever. This version of Molly Whoppers is made up of some players of Shiver Me Inklings. Now, which answers an interesting question. Since Shiver Me Feeders won back in February, a team that was made up of half Shiver Me Inkling players and half literally feeding players, you were wondering, well, what's going to happen to the rest of those Shiver Me Inkling players that wasn't on that roster that won? Well, it looks like a couple of them are on this Molly Whoppers roster this time around, and should be making a return trip to Alpha Bracket, and maybe a couple of those pirate players can find a way to get a title of their own. Number 9. Acropore should be in here. They deserve it. They grind SOS. They made Alpha Bracket last month. They took second place in the Ultimate Splat Championship number 27. A tournament series that I'm going to reference a lot in my top 10 because now I actually start paying attention to it, where I probably should have in the past. I want to see how teams that do well in the USC tournament, does that translate into success in low ink? Now that I'm actually paying attention to it, we'll keep an eye on that because a lot of Alpha Bracket teams play in USC. Acroport is very experienced. They're on the rise. I don't think they're exactly ready to win this tournament just yet, but you look at the teams that have signed up so far. I can't legit name 9 other teams that I think are better than them. So welcome to the top 10, Acropora. Now start doing some damage on Sunday. Number 8. I don't think any less of Inked INKD since they finished in 4th place of beta last month. That's just a product of going 4-2, blah, blah, blah. We need 5 wins. We already talked about that already. The fact of the matter is, they are more than capable of getting that 5th win since they have gone 6-0 in the past. And in that month that they went 6-0, they didn't get too crazy excited about it because they did really well on the Sunday right after that, where they made their best run yet going in 5th place. And that was back in January, so just a couple of months ago. So when you accomplish going 6-0 on Swiss and finishing in 5th place in Alpha Bracket, you've shown that you're capable of winning this tournament at any time. So I don't really care that they made beta last month or have dropped in the past or whatever. They've proven they are capable and are just one good day away, kind of like Blazing Storm. All it takes is just one good day and you're a low ink champion. So Inked is going to be in this top 10 list forever. This time they're just at number 8 though. Number 7. It's good to see the Pain Bashers back in action after taking last month off and going back to their normal name of Ink Bashers back in February, where they made Alpha Bracket. And this is a good month to come back into the fold. This tournament seems a little bit more wide open. There's always parity in low ink, but there's not as many monsters this time around as you would think. So the window is open for a lot of teams, especially teams that like to shove missiles down your throat, to make a deep run on Sunday. I don't really know if there's any key difference between Pain Bashers and Ink Bashers, but the last time they used the name Pain Bashers was in January, where they finished 9th in Alpha Bracket. But hey, the window's open, Pain Bashers. Show us what you got. Number 6. I'm going with a cop-out here. I'll be completely honest. There are not 10 teams that I think have a legit chance of winning this low ink. I'll just straight up say it. I don't care. So, I'm leaving this final 6 spot open. for the course of this day, if a team like Blue Moon were to sign up, or Ocean 7, or a team around that caliber were to sign up, I will put it in my Discord who the sixth team is going to be later today. I'll put in my public Discord who the actual top 10 is going to be. But I'm leaving number 6 blank right now, and I reserve the right to change that later. So number 6 is the team that's actually going to win low ink. That's who I'm saving it for. Number 5. I told you I was going to reference the Ultimate Splat Championship again. So how about the team that won the 28th one? Give me Crimson Quake. Which, the more I say that name out loud, what the hell is a Crimson Quake? What does that even mean? Anyways, focus. Okay, yes. It's the same CQ team that won Mako Bracket in SOS number 65, won the Ocean 7 Invitational. There's been a lot of winning going on this month alone for the Crimson Quake team. So you got to respect that. The only problem is they haven't done much winning in Alpha Bracket just yet, making it back in February, but losing both matches 1-2. However, that was 2 months ago, and clearly these players have grown a lot since then. So we'll see what these Crimson Quakers can do this Sunday. Number 4. Your Lag Paradise, which is what they're deciding to call themselves this time around, is currently the lone wolf remaining from that group of teams I mentioned last month. Kraken United, Access Denied, Heaven's Moonlight, all ain't here. And if you paid attention to Twitter, we gave a couple of those teams a certificate because they are ripping people apart in some of these SOS tournaments that they're playing in, or Minnow Cup, or whatever that they're doing here. Leaving one team in that group, Your Lag Paradise, still around. Which means, of course, that they will make Alpha Bracket, get upset in winners, and lose composure in losers bracket. No. That's not going to happen this time around. Not to Your Lag Paradise. No, they will not fall for those usual traps. They listen to the Popcast. They just heard that spiel of how to win low ink. They're going to master it exactly how I scripted out here. They know what they're getting into. No one is one of the famous rag to riches stories, a team that went 2-4 in their first low ink and is a threat to win it every month from here on out. Despite their 9th place finish last month, they still finished 4th place in February. So just remember, it's not it's your Lag Paradise. Number 3. Getting down to the nitty gritty here. Squid Killers might not win FNF tonight. Friday Night Frenzy. It doesn't matter. They might have finished tied for 9th last month. It doesn't matter. Here's what I know. What have you done for me lately? How about winning the Ultimate Splat Championship number 29 over Access Denied, My Lag Paradise, Kingmaker, and Up the Ante? That's a pretty good feather to have in your cap at this point. Now, a 1-day weekly with no EU teams in it is not the same as a 2-day low ink championship. However, the experience of winning a tournament in general does do a lot for your mentality. They know now what it takes to finish out a tournament, and it goes when it gets down to the nitty gritty. And I guess that's something they always knew, considering they have won a beta bracket in the past as well. You want to come into the low ink with hot recent results, and no team has better recent results combined with experience of making deep runs in the alpha bracket as the Squid Killers do. That's why I got them at number 3. Number 2. For every stat that I listed out, you don't want to go 4-2. You don't want the 7th seed. You don't want to end up losing winter semifinals. The Yummy Stars accomplished all of that last month. Do you know they got a player who just reached 2,700 in solo queue, though? That's right. Blue may very well be the best individual player in this tournament if you just care about solo queue scores. We've had 2,700 players in low ink before because solo queue doesn't always translate to competitive. It's two completely different games in some senses. But it's just a part of what makes the Yummy Stars a strong team as general. 5th place finished last month, and all the teams that finished in the same placement as them or better is not here. They are the best ranking team remaining that finished in last Lowing. So this might be the best month for the Yummy Stars to take that next step into becoming a Lowing champion, becoming the first team ever to win a Gamma, Beta, and Alpha bracket. Because if they don't, while it's still likely they're going to be eligible next month and they're going to be in that category of teams that are going to be threatening to win it, the window might be closing and you don't know when a new monster is going to pop up out of nowhere and leapfrog over everyone. So you got to strike while the iron is hot, Yummy Stars. Also, they beat My Like Paradise 3-2 in quarterfinals last month. So that's why I got them over My Like Paradise. Excuse me, Your Like Paradise. Hey, that's all the teams you guys know, right? So who's at number 1? Who is the team that is going to win this Lowing? The answer is simple. Number 1. It's that time where I mention a team name that you've never heard of, will forget about, then come back to this VOD a few days later and say, oh yeah, Popgun mentioned this team. I forgot about that. This month's rando pickup team that makes the top 10, and in this case the top 1, is Pajamas. So what makes Pajamas or PJs the number 1 team? You got players from Emptiness and Fallen Inc. So a strong German team, pickup team that is very experienced with Lowing, who traditionally does really well in Lowing. And I know what you're thinking. A pickup team from Germany. Where have I heard that before? Did some of these players play on that Squirrel team? That team that finished 2nd place last month? Yup, a couple of them did. The answer is yes. And another one who got 3rd place in February that didn't play on that Squirrels team. So these players always finish 1st and 2nd. And you look at who's not here, and you look at the teams who are, and you come to the conclusion, hey, this pickup team of Pajamas, this might just be the best team in this tournament so far. So I'm calling it now. Pajamas will win this Lowing. If they go 5-1, don't get the 7th seed and win semifinals. So there you go. We got through this episode of the Popcast. Some of it I had to write on these tiny pieces of paper earlier today. Some of it I typed out a couple of days ago. We got through it. If you don't like where I put you in the top 10, or if I didn't put you in at all, and number 6 is up there and I didn't mention honorable mention, don't worry. Don't get upset. I always start off the episodes of the Popcast on Mondays explaining what actually happened in the tournament. So if you do really well in this tournament, you know I'm going to catch it. You know I'm going to give you a shout out. And there you go. So make sure you do that. Between now and then, make sure you sign up for Lowing. If you're watching this live, you got less than 7 hours to do it. If you're watching a VOD of this, I don't like you. Please watch me live. So there you go. Quickly, the highlighted messages in chat. Actually, Freelancing Takayashi recently had a guy reach 2,700 with Dynamo. With Dynamo? Jeez. That's crazy. Give me a granola bar and an Ocean 7 joins. I can't be sold. And I love granola bars. I'm not giving those little things away for something like that. If you'd like to be a part of the podcast anyway, feel free to reach out on my social below. Twitter at Mr_Popgun, Discord Popgun, hashtag 5882, YouTube at 25Popgun, Twitch at Popgun25, Anchor.fm/Popgun, TikTok at Mr_Popgun. Let's raid Dude. Dude's probably talking about Splat 3 stuff. Dude has about 700 people watching live. My goodness. That is good. That is invalid. Did I miss? Oh, that I typed in the. It's not the. That SRB 2, dude. Enjoy Lowing this weekend. Stay safe. Get vaccinated. Wear a mask. And watch some Splatoon 3 content on YouTube later today, I guess.